Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker, and before we get this party started, which sadly is not on a yacht in Miami with Justin Bieber, but because of that, on a positive note, it means that I have no excuse for dropping anything this week. Along those lines, I wanted to make sure that the New York Giants receivers and you were catching all the local Antietam cable programming you could get your hands on. They, of course, have nothing else to do right now except watch, and the newest way to do that is with our WCL On The Go app right on your phone. Download the app for free today and find everything from the showcase of marching bands to episodes of our Music Makers program to high school sporting events to previous installments of this season's Inside Sports. And it feels so good to be app-worthy. And in addition, we'll soon be streaming the games we televise live via live stream through the very same app. And although this Friday's girls-boys north-south basketball doubleheader won't be on the app, it will be streamed on the web on myactv.net. We're all about more screens and platforms to provide you with more opportunities to watch what we do. So visit the App Store on your phone and download WCL On The Go and create the ease of dialing up or ultimately tuning in Antietam Cable local programming no matter where you are today. Today on the show, you get Shot Clock Overtime, reigning and future prospective indoor track and field champions, and I'll start with the newest Hub Cup wrestling title holders right after this.
Champions are not merely born, they're forged in the crucible that is flag football. With equal parts turf, pigskin, and heart. That's why Buffalo Wild Wings donates to boys and girls clubs across the country to not only help thousands of kids learn about teamwork on and off the field, but to help them fulfill their destiny. To shred defensive lines, terrorize the secondary, and emerge bonded as true champions.
At Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period. We're the largest Ford store in the tri-state area. Number one for only one reason. We charge less, period. Hagerstown Ford delivers. We'll bring your new ride to you and do the whole deal sitting at your kitchen table. Easy peasy. Get more for your trade, easy on-the-spot financing, and the lowest prices on the East Coast guaranteed. And if we can't beat their deal, we'll buy that car for you. Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. We continue now with wrestling, and in particular, Hub Cup wrestling. And joining me now, the three Hubs Hub Cup champions. And I'm going to introduce them like I'm doing the introductions before the championship bouts. At 120 pounds, Brian Stewart. I'm not going to run down everything that goes along with that. At 106 pounds, Tyler Cook. And at 160 pounds, Aaron Brooks. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for indulging me on that. Thanks for bringing the cup itself in. It's kind of cool to have it here. And let me start with a freshman in Tyler Cook. This is kind of the way things began for you on Saturday night in the championship finals. Now, was there any added nervousness with you being the first guy to get on the mat that night, or did that actually play to your strengths?
No, I mean, like, wrestling, like, half the season before, and, like, the first two weights, I'm kind of used to it. So, I mean, I just tried to I was kind of used to it. I just tried to not let the nervousness of the finals get to me and wrestle my match.
And it must have helped you, given the fact that you jumped out to a 5-0 lead there late in the first period. But then as the match unfolded, things got a little bit tighter. What started going through your mind once the gap started closing a little bit?
I mean, I was a little anxious, like I was going to give away a lead. But I knew as long as I wrestled smart and I kept wrestling the way I was, I would have won.
And you never trailed in that entire match. And then when you realized that you're a Hub Cup champion, what happened with the headgear?
Yeah, I didn't mean to throw it. I kind of like put my arms up after I won, and then it was just gone.
Yeah, it was kind of a sign of relief and exhilaration at the same time. Probably just didn't even think about it at all. And congratulations on the 6-5 victory. How does it feel to be a Hub Cup champion? Because you actually accomplished something that neither of the guys that you're sitting between did their first time out.
Yeah, I mean, I felt great just to compete in it because I've always watched it, like even before I got into high school. Because I've been wrestling since I was like 7, so ever since then I've watched. And winning it was just unbelievable.
Well,
obviously excited.
Yeah, it certainly set the tone for North Hagerstown as a team. And Brian, you go on as a team to win the 30th annual Hub Cup. It's hard to imagine that the Hubs have won it only 4 times out of the 30, but I think that speaks to the quality of competition that comes to the Hub Cup. Your second Hub Cup championship, and it appeared to me, watching you in the championship semifinals and then in the finals, that you were so in control. Is that the way you felt?
Well, really, I just tried to wrestle my match, whether it was a national wrestler or whether it was a first-time wrestler. You know, I take everyone on the same way. I don't really take it easy on anybody.
Yeah, well, I think that's pretty clear. And do you pride yourself in being able to rack up the points like you did? I mean, you're almost like a high-powered offensive team out there in and of yourself. I mean, it's just seemingly one takedown after another. The points keep going up on the board.
Yeah, I mean, I practice takedowns in practice, so that kind of helped me, and it kind of set the tone, like what I do on the mats.
Where does the Hub Cup rank for you? Obviously, you're a 2-time state champion, only a junior, but things have rolled pretty well for you so far in your high school career. Where does a Hub Cup championship rank for you?
Well, Hub Cup is a tough tournament. You know, I didn't win as a freshman, and I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to win in all 4 years. I didn't think it was really that tough until my freshman year when I came in and I didn't win, and then that's when I had to take a step back and look at it and treat it as if it was a national tournament, you know?
Yeah, and I think you've gotten that down at this point. Again, congratulations on the individual title. And as far as the team title is concerned, Aaron, there has to be a lot of pride associated with that because it is North Hagerstown's tournament and happens in your gym. But for you, also a 2-time state champion and seemingly a guy who's won every single title, whether it's been locally, nationally, whatever, somehow this one had eluded you until Saturday. Can you talk about that a little bit and just how good it felt to get the individual championship?
You know, it's definitely something that I wanted, you know, being that 2 years, like the past 2 years, I had lost at it. And looking back at last year, after that loss, I knew that ever since then, it was just a matter of time before I came back and got it. So going into it, and everything was the same. I took it the same way as I did the years before that. But, you know, I worked a little harder. Over the summer, I worked a lot harder. And I just knew it was destined to happen, so.
Well, you certainly took the drama out of it this time. It was a lot different than last year, a quadruple overtime. This year, 50 seconds and a pin. You also were voted the outstanding wrestler of the tournament, and you had the 4 pins in 146 seconds. Has this been something that, you know, as it's happened match after match this season, now 26-0 with 26 first period pins, is it something that you're cognizant of, or is it just something that tends to happen within the matches themselves?
You know, going into the matches, I'm not always, you know, looking for the first period pin. I create the openings and then I capitalize on them. So, you know, it's not something that, I guess it's not something that I look into doing. It's just, it's there, so I take it. I create it and I take it.
Yeah, it's almost like a goal that's been set within the goal, which has been a tremendous season so far for you and for the Hubs in general. Again, congratulations on the Hub Cup title, and I think going forward, this has to build a lot of confidence for the team in whatever comes up down the road, because again, this is a huge tournament, the biggest Hub Cup tournament ever, and you guys come out on top. So congrats on that, on the individual titles, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'll be back right after this. The show continues with indoor track, and that happens in just a moment.
When it comes to hearing loss, who will be taking care of you? Audiologist Dr. Karen Hamilton is Hagerstown's hearing doctor, working to improve the quality of life for those with hearing loss. At Audiology Services, Dr. Hamilton focuses on evaluation and diagnosis to provide solutions for treating hearing loss. Using the latest technology, she programs hearing aids to meet your unique needs and ensures they fit properly and comfortably. Audiology Services participates with most insurance companies and will check benefits and file claims on your behalf. Dr. Hamilton and her team also serve the community through Hagerstown Hearing, which focuses on providing crystal clear sound in places such as theaters, churches, offices, and homes. Hagerstown Hearing installs looping systems that allows those with hearing loss to enjoy speech clarity and noise reduction, providing an experience like never before. To learn more about audiology services and Hagerstown Hearing, call 301-790-3300. Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, providing crystal clear sound.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. We continue now with a little foray into indoor track and field, and specifically the indoor field events, and one in particular, and that would be the shot put. And we go to a couple of Boonesboro guys for that, Nick Kidwell and Jordan Churchy. Welcome to the show, guys. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Les, for having us.
Man, now, you guys are both pretty big guys.
Yeah.
You know, Nick, what are you weighing in at these days?
6'5", 300, somewhere in there.
All right, and Jordan?
Just 6 on the dot and 270.
270. Okay. Well, we hope that those chairs will hold you guys here today. I mean, there's no telling whether that'll work out. So again, we'll be at the ready just in case.
They held grams. I feel sure that I can.
Well, I think Zach left his mark on one of those in one way or another. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time. But Nick, let me talk about the shot put with you first. This is your first opportunity to throw the shot this year. So what's that been like, and how did this all come about?
Well, I like it. I mean, playing football, it's more like, it's not as aggressive, but I like it.
And what have you learned from that? What does it in order to be a successful shot putter?
Patience.
Patience first and foremost.
Yeah.
What about technique? What have you learned about that?
Well, JR has been preaching patience, and getting your foot down for every day.
And that's J.R. Lowry, former state champion.
Yep.
And a guy who's been pretty successful in college, too. What's it like having him as a mentor?
Oh, it's nice having someone that's been in your footsteps in shot put and in football, give you advice.
And speaking of state champions, there's one right here by the name of Jordan Churchy. Tell me about last year and how that played out for you during the indoor season.
Well, last year, I was throwing around 40, not really consistent, and we got that week off instead of having states that week, and then they changed it to next week. And so the whole time during practice, had in my mind, I got to go back for Evan. And the whole practice, I was hitting 42, not really coming close to 43, just 42 constantly. And the day of the meet, I was raring to go. Felt ready for it.
So you throw 43.3 at the meet itself, and wind up with a state championship. And when all of the dust had cleared, how long did it take for that to kind of sink in that you were a state title holder?
Probably right as soon as it happened.
Didn't take long then.
Because I held it off for the preliminaries, and then just as soon as I knew that all I had to do is continue to stay ahead of everyone, just keep throwing.
Now, the first time that you threw, the first recorded throw that you had during high school was just over 34.5 feet.
Yeah.
So what do you attribute to the improvement that you've seen over the course of your career?
Well, it's definitely a huge improvement on my part, and my technique has definitely gotten better since sophomore year. And I've gotten quicker, and I feel like that's also improved to my throwing, being able to do quick movements whenever I need to.
Is there anything that you've imparted to Nick that you can tell him from the standpoint that you were at the state championships last year, won a title? Is there anything you've been able to say to him to help him at all?
Not really. I mean, in practice, we just kind of go for it, see who throws farther, and just keep going back and forth.
And Nick, how much does that help you, knowing that you're being pushed by a reigning state champion?
I like being competed with. Yeah, it's fun having someone that's just as good as you, and if better.
And when you saw Jordan go out and throw 46 plus, a new PR down there at the PG Sportsplex. You know, what was the mindset then for you, just to try to go and better that?
Yeah, that last meet, this last meet on Friday, I tried to meet you and beat him by 4 inches.
And what were you doing better on Friday than you had done so far? Obviously, this is still in the infancy stages for you, but what did you feel really worked for you on Friday that you can use going forward?
I was definitely more patient and got my foot down better.
And Jordan, as far as you're concerned right now, do you, I guess with shot putting, everybody thinks about the fact that it is so physical, and yet, you know, Nick's talking about the patience, getting your foot down, which is some physicality, but how much of it is mental, and how difficult is it not to go too far in getting into your own head?
It plays a big role on the mental part. Not a lot of people would think that just watching it, but you know, while you're throwing, you have probably about a dozen more things that are going on. You have people running around the track. You have all that constant noise. I mean, at HCC, it doesn't seem like much. When you get to PG and you can't hear yourself think, it can play a big part. The Evan Watchner from Hancock, it played a big part on him during states last year. So to Nick, I mean, hasn't really went through that, but he's played in playoff games for football in high school. So I feel like it shouldn't be that too big of a deal for him.
Well, guys, wish you the best of luck ahead. Fun to watch you get out there and do your thing, and hopefully a lot of great things to come here before the season's over for you and the Boonesboro team. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be back right after this. Bethany Lohman of Boonesboro will join me, along with Ian Mann from Hancock. More indoor track and field in just a moment.
Tony's Pizza in Williamsport has had the same simple philosophy since 1985. Start with simple products. Sauce from the best Italian tomatoes. The best cheese and dough made fresh every day. Then mix those with a great atmosphere, and you'll have the best dining experience you can find. Tony's is known for their pasta dishes, subs, pizzas, and specialty items like their Nutella Dots and the famous Crazy Tony. Simply put, they want to give the best food they can give to their customers. So stop in today to Tony's Pizza in Williamsport.
Life's expensive. You've got your home, your car, maybe a family, and now you're thinking about earning your degree. At Kaplan University, we get it. When it comes to the cost of your education, every bit helps. That's why we created Tuition Cap. It's a program that sets the maximum amount you'll pay for college. Once you meet the cap, the rest of your degree is free. That's right, free. That adds up to a 33% savings off the full tuition. It's all part of our promise to make college more affordable. Learn how you can save with Kaplan University's Tuition Cap program at 1-866-KAPLAN-4.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. More indoor track and field now, and as promised, Bethany Lohman from Boonesboro joins me, along with Ian Mann from Hancock. Welcome to the show. So good to have you here. Bethany, let me start with you because you specialize in the pole vault.
Yes.
A defending state champion in 1A in the pole vault. Now, how do you get started in the pole vault? How do you even know that you're going to be good in the pole vault? How's that happen?
Well, I actually was in gymnastics for 8 years, and then when I came into high school, my coach knew I did gymnastics, so she was like telling me to try pole vault, and so I think like some of the like technique from gymnastics like helped me be able to figure out the technique of pole vault. But
what was the most difficult thing for you to get down?
Probably like learning how to turn, like over the pole. My coach told me it was like a round off. So, and it took me a while to get that. So after figuring it out, but it took me a while to figure it out. But yeah.
Last year was really a breakthrough season for you. The improvement throughout the course of the season, it was so easy to follow. I mean, from one meet to the next, you just seemingly kept going higher until you finally cleared 9 feet and won the state championship. What was that feeling like to win a state title? Because did you go into the season even thinking that that was a possibility?
No, I didn't realize I was one of the top pole vaulters in 1A at first, and then but getting 9 feet was like really nice because I was always stuck at 8.6 for a while, and then so finally like breaking through to 9 feet, it felt really good.
Yeah, what an awesome conclusion to that junior season for you. And Ian, last year for you, within the county, all of a sudden in the 55, you're just running past everybody. Defending county champion and region champion in the 55. wound up 4th at the state meet. And this year you go out, very first meet of the season, 6.71, a brand new PR in the 55. And you've been off to a great start, winning all 3 meets in which you've competed so far. So this season, what's the ceiling for you before this one ends?
Get a gold or silver medal. That's what I want to get states. I want to get if I get a bronze, I'll be happy, but it's not what I want. But I like to drop my time down more. I want to get in the 6.6s for the 55, and the 300 hasn't really been that good this year, but I want to get below 37 threes.
Yeah, I was looking at the time that won last year in 1A at States in the 55, and it was 6.65 seconds. Do you feel that that's a realistic time for you to get that or below?
Yeah, I mean anything's realistic. I mean, that's certainly attainable. I just I got to do everything right. Plus, these meets, I do better when there's people in front of me. I'm not trying to like glorify myself here, but there's nobody been way in front of me. There's been people right beside me. I mean, we've had good races, but over the years I've had people always in front of me, and it kind of made me push more.
Right. Yeah, well, you come into this season, like I said, defending champion in region and counties in the 55, and in the 300, defending champion in the county in the 300. You said that hasn't been quite as good this year. Do you know why that is, or what are you working on there in order to better yourself?
I mean, I'm not sure. I just gotta get my conditioning back down. I still kind of run like I'm a football player, which is kind of, there's a bit of a difference. I mean, I don't have my form exactly down, so I'm kind of, the last like 100 meters, I'm starting to lose my form, and I'm wasting a lot of my energy, like moving side to side instead of forward. So I gotta learn to get that back down, so I don't, waste all my energy.
Yeah, there's such a small margin for error in those races, deciding places along the way. What did you learn last year at States with the way that things are contested there that will help you this year going back?
Well, the competition there is a lot more intense. So, I mean, right now, I've got the major things down pretty good. I just got to work on one little thing every day just to make it so I'm that much better.
And Bethany, it appeared that on Friday at the Smithsburg Invitational, you weren't quite at your best. And it's just that we've come to expect so much from you, and probably you too. What was going on that night that wasn't quite working for you the way that things normally do?
Well, my run felt off, like my steps weren't right, and I had like a mental block that every time like I'd run down the runway, like I would jump off the wrong foot or something. So it just kind of like hindered me from like doing my best. But
so what was it, a lot just in your head? It was just too much going on there versus the physical part of it? Because obviously you know how to pole vault.
And like after a while of pole vaulting at a meet, like I get really tired. So, and then if I have to keep jumping, it doesn't let me do as well. So.
Yeah, and that's another question I wanted to ask, and I'll ask both of you. Bethany first. How hard is the waiting at those meets?
Some meets are better than others. This last meet, I had to wait about an hour before I actually got to vault. So I had warmed up and I sat for an hour, and then I finally got to jump.
And Ian, how about you?
Actually, right now this year, the way they got the events ordered, I like it because I run the 300 first. Well, and it's like the second event. So I mean, I get warmed up and I can run that. And then the 55 is in the middle, so I have plenty of time to recover from the 300. Plus, I'm, warmed up, still kind of warmed up from running that 300 because it's so intense. So by the time I get to the 55, I'm feeling good. And then, I mean, I just like the way the events are this year.
Yeah. Well, best of luck to both of you throughout the rest of the season. It's always fun to watch you, and great to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be back right after this, going into overtime, talking about the shot clock in just a moment.
Champions are not merely born, they're forged in the crucible that is flag football. With equal parts turf, pigskin, and heart. That's why Buffalo Wild Wings donates to boys and girls clubs across the country to not only help thousands of kids learn about teamwork on and off the field, but to help them fulfill their destiny. To shred defensive lines, terrorize the secondary, and emerge bonded as true champions.
At Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period. We're the largest Ford store in the tri-state area. Number one for only one reason. We charge less, period. Hagerstown Ford delivers. We'll bring your new ride to you and do the whole deal sitting at your kitchen table. Easy peasy. Get more for your trade, easy on-the-spot financing, and the lowest prices on the East Coast guaranteed. And if we can't beat their deal, we'll buy that car for you. Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period.
Welcome back to Inside Sports, and for the first time this season, we're into overtime. Now, last Thursday, the Antietam Cable crew and I traveled to Clear Spring to televise the Blazers boys basketball game against Boonesboro. The two teams entered the night averaging a combined 92 points per game through their first 8, so there was no reason not to believe that at least one of them was going to end the game with 40 to 50-some points on its respective side of the scoreboard. However, shortly after Clear Spring won the opening tip, it became immediately and then agonizingly obvious that Blazers coach John Hutzel's intentions were for his team's possessions to be elongated and thus the game's scoring to be minimized. Perhaps because he was as stunned as my broadcast partner, Coach Barry Brown, and I, Boonesboro coach Andrew Ditterman chose not to force Hutzel's hand, instead keeping his guys in a passive zone defense that enabled Clear Spring to make perimeter pass after perimeter pass without even looking to score for lengthy periods of time. Those strategies, playing in concert with each other, resulted in a 4-2 Blazer lead after one quarter, a 5-5 tie at halftime, a 14-12 Boonesboro advantage through 3 quarters, and ultimately with no extra points converted, an 18-12 Warrior victory. The 30 total points in 32 minutes meant that last Thursday's game became the lowest scoring involving a County boys team in the last 2 1/3 seasons by 33 points, and the lowest scoring pitting two county teams against each other by 39 points. Now, before this becomes construed as an indictment of what Coach Hutzel and the Blazers did, allow me to make it clear that what they implemented was a strategy the National Federation of High School Associations Rules Committee feels strongly should remain a viable option. The other option is one to which the NFHS remains opposed, although you might have heard of it. It's called a shot clock. After all, it's used in the counties and states' public school girls' games. But did you know that Maryland is part of the minority when it comes to the use of a shot clock at all? Only California, Massachusetts, New York, North Dakota, Rhode Island, South Dakota, and Washington are part of that same short list of shot clock users. And yes, some use it for boys and girls games. And for so doing, those 8 states suffer the punitive consequences of forfeiting their opportunity to serve on the NFHS Basketball Rules Committee. That's right, no revolutionary forward thinkers allowed. And that ban has been in place for Maryland since the 1979-80 season, which isn't exactly yesterday. The Free State instituted the shot clock in order to elevate the girls' version of the game by making it more exciting, a decision subsequently credited with making basketball the first female sport in Maryland to crown a state champion. Nonetheless, the NFHS still refuses to buy in some 37 years later. It seems their reticence can be traced in many cases to protecting their belief that the high school game should remain different from the college and professional levels. Consequently, they've dug their heels in, ensuring that the strategy of slowing the ball down to better match up and keep a game close against a superior opponent lives on. Maybe the fact that Clear Spring scored just 1 point in the second and fourth quarters combined and yet only lost by 6 serves to underscore the NFHS's point. But it also underscores this gem from the committee members, quote, "Education-based basketball does not warrant that student athletes and coaches play to entertain the public," end quote. Then I sure hope they're not charging admission to any of the games in the 42 compliant states where I hear they're still using peach baskets. Incidentally, next Wednesday is the 121st anniversary of the first college basketball game. That final score, Chicago 15, Iowa 12. Let's see, that means last Thursday's game only set basketball back to 1896, and we can thank the National Federation of State High Schools for that. That notwithstanding, it's all about evolution on this show as we advance another week into the winter sports season next time with an express goal of informing and entertaining. Thanks for watching tonight, and I'll see you again in 7 days on The Inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers. You gotta get up in the streets.